What is up, guys? Welcome to MLG Prizefights presented by BIC Flex4 Razors. I'm JP McDaniel, and we have some incredible matches today as Socke is going up against Seiplo in a PvP, and then right after that, Lucira is going to be going up against Gonzi in that dreaded ZVT. Here to cast the games with me is none other than Wolf. Wolf, how's it going, man?
I'm feeling good. It's a little bit late here in Korea, but that's totally fine by me. I can't wait to cast these matches.
Let's talk about that second matchup, the one that we're going to be casting a little bit later, as we are going to be seeing Lucira going up against Gonzi. First off, what are your thoughts on those two players?
Well, I think they're both top-notch players. Lucira just recently re-qualifying for Code A, played well overseas as well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if he's changed his style a lot because I haven't seen too many games of him in the past few weeks. Gonzi is someone who always looks really strong. You can see his TVZ win ratio, 65% there. And Lucira is someone who sometimes doesn't take show matches as seriously, I think, as he should. He does a lot of early pools, for example, whenever he plays online. So kind of curious to see what he's going to do here.
What do you think about this ZVT matchup right now? Is Gonzi going to have a really, really hard time going up against Lucira?
It's going to be pretty tough if Lucira uses that new 6-queen style, for example. That's something a lot of Terrans are having trouble with because Queen's got that new patch. The creep tumor spreading, and obviously the Overlord speed makes it a little bit more difficult for Terrans to hide what they're doing. But I feel like even still, Terrans haven't changed their style that much, and they're doing okay. Right. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him if he doesn't change things up.
All right, well, that'll be coming up a little bit later. But right now, we've got the PvP between Socke and Seiplo. We saw Socke just go on a tear through MLG championships in the spring season. Seiplo played pretty well at the second arena there in that season. What do you think about these two pro tosses?
You know, Socke is someone who does really well overseas. You know, he hasn't been in Korea. He hasn't done anything there just yet. But when he plays in these big normal lands, he looks really good. You know, one of the best players out there foreigner-wise in some of these tournaments. Sometimes people are really surprised by his results, but I think he's probably the favorite here.
And Seiplo, do you know much about this guy other than what we saw kind of at Arena 2?
Yeah, that's literally the first time I ever saw him. I have not really seen anything else from this guy. Looks like he got third at the Copenhagen Games, which is a pretty big tournament in Europe. But I don't know too much about this guy. Honestly, I know he's on Alien Invasion, and he has probably about 10% of the hair that Goody has. And Socke. Socke and Goody, I always get their hair messed up. They're both German guys with long hair. I don't know.
Well, we will see if hair has anything to do with this matchup. Guys, remember, this is a best of 5 for both of our matches here today, and the winner will take home $500. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to map number 1 between Socke and Seiplo as we head into Antigua Shipyard. And up here in the top left-hand corner, spawning as the red Protoss will be Socke. Spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner is, of course, going to be Seiplo.
Yep, and PvP these days has evolved so far away from what it used to be. It's very much so now about the tech choices, and you know, even faster early gas is really important. Sometimes people are going gas before core these days. Phoenix builds are becoming more and more popular, more figured out. So it's a really scary matchup in some ways because there is a little bit of randomness to the tech that you can choose, but at the same time, people have figured out a standard way to play as well. And if you know how to play that really well, really safely, if you practice it enough, you definitely can kind of avoid the randomness to a certain extent.
And we can already see a little bit of a deviation here. Socke is scouting quite actively, but not going any further than his natural ramp. I guess he was just looking for any proxy pylons or anything like that. However, over on Seiplo's side, he has not scouted one bit, and he's already mining from gas. Both players really just kind of doing the standard opening thus far.
Yeah, you know, when you play on a map like this, there is the possibility of cannon rushing at your natural, or you know, putting cannons on the low ground next to the natural and putting a pylon on the high ground to kill the probes while they're mining. That threat is always there, so always good to go and check your natural for things like that. Make sure that you're not being proxy. But as far as anything else goes, in this matchup, when you scout, with the way that the metagame is currently being played, you're just going to see a second gas, and you're not going to know what that means. And by the time you could know what it meant, your probe would already be dead. So a lot of people choose not to scout. As far as I know, this is cross positions only on this map. So they already know their positions.
Well, not really too much to talk about, at least in this matchup. But PvP, for a while there, it was basically 4-gate, 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 and everyone hated it. But now it's really started to change in the past couple of months. Right now in PvP, where does it really stand in your eyes?
I feel like right now it's the choice. There's almost a triangle of starting tech that you can pick from, which is either Blink at the Twilight Council, Robo at the robotics facility, and of course the other alternate path is to go for a fast expand. And then there's always the Stargate that gets thrown in there, which, by the way, we'll see. I guess I'll talk about that a little bit now. Sure. As the Stargate is something that really changes the way the entire game is played because it throws people off. First of all, you can scout with the Phoenixes. If you want to scout with your first Phoenix, you can do that. That gives you information about what your opponent is doing right away. You can hide the Phoenix tech, going with multiple Phoenixes after your opponent makes a tech choice that may not be in his favor against Stargate. For example, if he goes Robo and you wait until 4 or 5 Phoenixes, you wait a long time and he goes Robotics Support on one base and you come in there, then he's in trouble because he didn't know you were going Phoenixes and now he can't change his mind. You can also use Phoenixes to go for a big attack like a 4 Warp Gate push, lift up the sentries defensively. You can use the Phoenixes to kill probes. You can use the Phoenixes defensively while you hold the Nexus. There's so many different things you can do with Phoenixes, and it's impossible for your opponent to know what you're going to do.
And right now, while you were explaining that, we saw a probe come in, put down a pylon. It was under attack, but now it's finished. We've got 2 Stalkers kiting the Zealot out in the open field. Also for Seiplo, who decided to throw down a robotics facility right after that Stargate. Only has 1 Phoenix out right now, and Socke is right outside his base with a forward pylon.
Yeah, he's going to be able to warp in some more units, put some pressure on if he chooses to. Twilight Council is on the way for Socke as well. And he has to be very careful with these units. If he goes up the ramp, he could get force fielded in, and Immortal is about to pop out for Seiplo. And yeah, he's just only made the 1 Phoenix, interestingly enough. Not going to make any more right now. I find that really interesting. I wonder what his plan is going to be here. It's almost as if he's not making Phoenixes because he fears an attack, and he wants to make sure he can use all of his gas to defend Warp-in sentries, continue Immortal production.
Do you think that it seems like he's reacting to seeing that forward pylon, and that's why he's getting more Immortals right now? Do you think that that might be the reason for it?
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, he's going to send the Phoenix out to scout for the Nexus and also see what sort of tech path may be chosen in the main base, because without that information, if he warps in too many sentries or if he just sits on the Immortal tech without expanding or without getting robotic support bay for too long, he can just end up losing the game as a result. So he really needs to find out what his opponent's doing. That's why he's going to send this Phoenix in here. Now he's going to see the Blink as well as 4 gateways. He does not, however, see the Nexus. That's really important for him to see, and now he's going to see it. And with this scout, I mean, he's going to feel a little bit more comfortable. In fact, he may even just make 1 more Immortal and move down his ramp.
Yeah, I think with that scout, he's going to feel somewhat threatened economically because for a while there, he thought his opponent was going to 3 or 4 gate him, and that's why he started producing those Immortals so heavily and stopped producing those Phoenixes. And now we could see him move down the ramp. We'll see if he decides to make it cross map. Blink is finished now as he's trying to chase away that Phoenix, and he will get it at the very last second, but here comes the entire army, and Socke's army is in a very, very bad position.
Yeah, he's stuck up there on the high ground. He needs to blink down to escape, but he has to do it very carefully. He's going to actually pick up this Phoenix, but at what cost? Now he's actually exposing himself. Lost a lot of hit points on those Stalkers. In the end, his opponent is 7 supply up here. Does not have a Nexus, however, and we may see Seiplo actually just decide to go for a big push and try to kill him. He's making another gateway. I think that's definitely what we're going to see. He knows the Nexus is up there. He knows this is basically his only chance, but he is going to get caught off guard by this Blink Stalker counterattack, losing a rallied Immortal. Well done by Socke, in fact.
Yeah, losing that Immortal is never, never good, and Socke's got to feel pretty strong about that because that attack is going to be so much weaker for his opponent. He's also had this expansion for a lot longer right now, 32 probes to 26. And this is pretty much the reason why you see Seiplo going across the map. He's very Zealot heavy, and he does not have charge and only 1 force field. And with Blink in there, we'll have to see how this goes. Some less than, I guess, good control there from Socke, but now he's getting into the right position. But I'm not sure how this fight's going to go.
Well, he desperately wanted to kill those pylons, or kill the probe at least, but he's not going to be able to do so, and he does blink up here. If he can get those pylons from the high ground, he can actually stop this attack, and he gets 1. However, the second one looks like it will finish. The Immortals are getting closer to his ramp. He's going to be very careful about how he engages this. He does not have a lot of Stalkers. I feel like he may have to sacrifice this Nexus. Great force fields, though.
And
Blinking
right
back
now,
a little bit.
Yeah, all the Zealots have been taken out. We see another Warp in here, and now those Immortals are being focused down. Will he be able to get that one? He does indeed, and the other Zealots should fall. The Probes having to be pulled here as we see some more Warp ins, and he gets this around on that Immortal, and with that will deflect the attack for now, but more units are being warped in here for both players.
Yeah, he wasn't able to warp in very close to the attack, so that hurt him just a little bit, but now he's actually continuing the attack with these Stalkers around the left side, and with the Immortal gone, I mean, it's very difficult, or rather, with most of the Blink Stalkers gone, it's very difficult to engage this, as Zealot-heavy units cannot fight Blink Stalkers very well. He's trying to use his Probes to defend now, and as soon as the Blink cooldown is done, he's going to blink back again, warping in more units right now, and Socke, he may be out of luck here because the Immortals are still alive. Those are the critical units because to defend this, he needs Stalkers, and he needs a good number of them, but if he makes too many Stalkers, the Immortals will just kill them, and his opponent just has essentially the perfect composition.
Yeah, but good control coming out of Socke here. He lands one Force Seal, but doesn't have another one to close off those Immortals, and they're going to be able to retreat once more down the ramp, get some more Zealots to reinforce there so he can go toe-to-toe with Socke's army, but this entire time, Socke's army is just getting stronger and stronger, and there is another Immortal coming cross map, but as we see right here, the Zealots are getting taken out very, very quick. He's got one Immortal at half HP and a big blink forward to take it out, and he does, no, he's not targeting, okay, there he goes, he gets both of them down now. Now only one Immortal in here. We'll see how well he can go here. Some more reinforcements come in for Seiplo. This is such a back and forth battle.
Yeah, very beautiful targeting, in fact, actually, by both players. It's hard to say who's really got the upper hand here. Obviously, if he can take out that Immortal, he's going to be in great shape, but he has to get it. Does not have a lot of support units. The Zealot targeting the Immortal now, and he actually may get it.
And this is getting very, very costly for Seiplo to continue losing Immortals like this one by one, but it's also keeping his opponent in check, but ever so slightly, Socke is slowly pulling ahead here. As we see him go in once more, let's see how well Socke can deflect this attack, or if he's even going to be able to at all.
Well, with good Blink Stalker Micro, I think he very well may be able to. He takes out one more Stalker. He needs to blink on top. Well, he's actually going to go around the left side. He's going to be careful how he engages. I like this probe pull.
Wow.
This is actually insane, Socke's control here. And he's going to target down the Immortal now. Nicely done, and that may just be it.
Yeah, I think at this point that Seiplo just has nothing left, and the Nexus really won Socke the game. It was very costly for him to do it there in the opening of that match, but as you saw, it kept him in that game, and it was ever so slightly he defended each attack just very closely, and I think if it really came down to poor control from Socke, he would have lost that whole thing. He got so many probe surrounds on those Immortals.
Yeah, and the probe surrounds, the targeting with the Zealots, making sure his Zealots were actually attacking the Immortals most of the time was really nicely done. That allows him to use the Stalkers much better because the Immortals kind of stuck, can't really move very well, and of course Zealots don't make the shields activate, so really nicely done.
All right, guys, well, that's game one. Game two in this best of five is coming up right after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you then.